Hello and welcome to Isra-Drama, the event showcasing Israeli theater's most prominent voices in a special online edition. I'm Aharish, broadcasting from the Shalom Tower Library. This project was produced by the Hanoch Levin Institute of Israeli Drama with the support of the Ministries of Culture and Sport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in conjunction with the municipality of Tel Aviv-Jaffa. Today, we will hear from some of the creators whose work is included in this year's program. All the shows are available online viewing until December 12th by registering on the event's website. Today, our subject is articulating pain, post-traumatic theater. It's not an easy subject to begin with, certainly not in times like this. And yet, it is difficult times that urge us to re-evaluate the bigger questions. What are we made of? What is the weight of our ancestral trauma? And can a personal account of pain mirror a social struggle? What is the place of theater in all of that? Can theater heal? In the following program, we will answer some of these questions through conversations with prominent theater artists whose unique voices are heard here and worldwide. For many survivors, life after trauma will never be the same. Psychologist Robert Lifton, who spent time with survivors from Hiroshima as well as Holocaust survivors, coined the term the death imprint, indicating a unique phenomenon. The survivors couldn't stop thinking about death, seeing it everywhere. The Death Imprint is also the title of a theater production written by Meirav Gruber, the award-winning actress and first-time playwright who is with me today here. Meirav, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the play that you wrote.
Well, it's an autobiographical play, as you said. And it's about a little girl, me, that allegedly had it all. A father, he was a champion in sports, and a beautiful mother, and a big brother, and a small dog, everything.
Like the perfect family.
Yeah, but at the age of 7, she saw her father trying to commit suicide. He didn't want to live anymore. He said to her that Hitler is hunting him.
Him.
Yeah. And from this point, she tried to survive in this chaos. And she finds a solution, not a good one, but a solution.
In your play, like you said, and it's not a spoiler because you said it, the main character has to accept Hitler as a permanent companion.
נו, את כבר יודעת מי אני?
לא.
בטוחה?
שרלי צ'פלין.
אני מציע שנעצור פה.
אז למה התחפשת?
לא התחפשתי. אני האיש הכי מפורסם בעולם.
איך קוראים לך?
היטלר.
אתה דוד היטלר? אבא כל הזמן מדבר עליך.
באמת?
כן.
מה הוא אומר?
היטלר, יימח שמו וזכרו צפו.
הוא בטח מתגעגע, גם אני מתגעגע אליו.
מה, אתה ידיד שלו?
ידיד נפש יהיה המונח.
אז למה אתה רוצה להרוג אותו?
זה מה שהוא אמר?
כן.
חשבתי שאנחנו חברים.
כי אתה דווקא מאוד נחמד.
אני יודע.
מה, אתה גם אלוף?
אני אלוף האלופים.
וואו, איך גם אני הייתי רוצה להיות אלופה.
באמת? אלופה במה?
לא אכפת לי במה,
העיקר להיות אלופה,
What prompted this unusual choice to make Hitler as your companion?
This girl, her name Hana, both of her parents are survivors of pogrom
And Holocaust.
Yeah. And at night, the father and the mother cry out and shout. And the father tries to make a suicide. So
Basically suffering from post-traumatic.
yeah, from the
Syndrome,
post-traumatic. And in this house, where you are so lonely and nobody sees you, comes suddenly an Hitler, and he become her friend, and he listens to her, and he dances with her, and he appreciates her as an art performer, the girl. She wanted to be famous like Hitler, and he's the only one who can understand her. But he's the one that's gonna kill her at the end, or send her to a mental hospital.
Institution, yeah. Can you tell me a little bit how much from the things that you wrote you actually felt?
Well,
Or
I
you
saw
experienced?
my father trying to take his life 5 times in front of my eyes, and he said to me, "Please forgive me. Please, I must die." Even now, I can't cope with something like this. And then, what else? Screamings at night, and every Saturday, we were together at bed
Yes.
with the parents. And my father used to tell us stories of the Nazis and how he survived. Every Saturday there was a Hitler.
Like a Saturday tradition.
Yep. Yeah, this is.
And you sat down and heard stories about the Nazis and about the way that
and
he
I
survived.
dreamed about them, and I dreamed that I was running, and
Away from
and Hitler grabs my legs and pull me. Yeah, it doesn't go. And me myself, I tried to commit suicide when I was in my top of in my top of a career. I had a child, I had a husband, and I sat with my child on the balcony in the 5th floor, and I wanted to jump with him. And I didn't understand how come. Allegedly I'm normal. I wasn't. I have a wound.
And you think that this wound is from your parents?
Of course. Poor ones. And this is why I actually wrote this play, because I had to ask my mother for forgiveness, because I treated her very bad. Hitler told me to.
Treat her very bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
Yes,
really Hitler.
I understand. Yes,
but
of course.
the thought of it, I mean, yeah.
You blamed her? You feel like you blamed her?
Yeah.
Wow.
I blamed her that she didn't love my father, and we separated not in good way. I mean, when she died. And in this play, I asked her, "Please forgive me," and she forgives me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, the makeup.
It's okay. This is what actors and actresses are worried about.
Yeah.
The makeup. Do you feel that in one way or another, the play that you wrote is some kind of a treatment for you?
Of course. You see, when I talk about it and I see the crowd, they're crying. I mean, they don't know me, they don't know my story, but it concerns to a lot of the second generation
Of Hana,
people.
yes.
A lot.
You know, you're saying that the crowd is crying with you, and I believe that even today, many see October 7th
Oh my God.
as a trauma that, you know, we can compare it to the Holocaust.
We can.
We can?
Yeah.
Do you think that we can compare it to the
course.
Holocaust?
I'm still in shock. I don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, I feel like it's what? People are still in Gaza. People are getting killed. Both sides
Yeah, I know.
are getting killed. Children who were slaughtered. I mean, what are we doing? And here I am. I'm here, hoping that it will give me an escapism, a way to flight out of what's going on there.
I have to thank you for who you are, for your past, for the great actress that you are,
Oh, thank you, Nurit.
and for the gift that you're giving and bringing to Israeli theater.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Navigating personal and social pain is a burning issue for any theater creator who is building his or her personal approach to the medium. In this conversation, we will discuss different agendas for this matter. I'm here with Ronnie Brodetzky, a director who delves into the depth of human emotions and who is presenting her gripping production Short Circuit in this year's program, production by Be'er Sheva Theater, written by Noah Lazar Keinan. Hello, Ronnie. Also with us today is Yair Sherman, director in residence of Baruch Ivshel Beit Lessin Theater, known for his contemporary interpretation of classical drama. In this year's Isra-Drama, we are presenting his fresh take on Hamlet. Hello, Yair.
Hi.
And hello to Hana Vazana-Grunwald, a force in feminist and documentary theater who brings to light the harsh realities faced by women in her production, Consensual Homicide, her dedication to documentary theater, predominantly focusing on women's groups, has fostered unique artistic techniques. Hello, Hana.
Hello.
So I would love to ask each and every one of you, first of all, to tell me a little bit about your show. Yair?
Well, my take on Hamlet, it's a contemporary interpretation to the classic piece everyone knows, and it really talks about theater and art and the relationship between art and government or corruption.
Ronnie, tell me a little bit about your show.
Short Circuit is a play about parents that discover that their beloved child is diagnosed on the autistic spectrum. It's a play for 2 actors, and the other roles in the play, the audience are playing inside the play.
They're actually taking part
Taking part in the play.
Amazing. Hana.
Consensual murder or consensual homicide deals with a painful subject in the society of Israel of murder women. We took this subject and tried to understand what is the mechanism that allowed this
These killings to
this
happen.
killing. Yes.
Yeah. So Yair, I will start with you.
Okay.
Why Hamlet and why now?
Well, I think any day is a good day for Hamlet, if you
Of
ask
course.
me. In this version of Hamlet in Beit Lessin Theater, the main theme of my production is theater and art. I chose to follow the line of the troupe of actors in the play as my main focus. The show begins with the ensemble of the theater entering the stage through the audience entrance and onto the stage. Just like I imagine the troupe of actors in the play going into the palace. We started rehearsals during the time we had a lot of demonstrations against our current government. It is a difficult time for artists in Israel. And
Yeah.
I think after COVID, the government made it pretty clear that there's no room for art, that culture is not really a necessity, and that theater is a luxury. And I try to remind the government and also the audience that comes to see the show that theater and art can actually reveal the truth that lies beneath the governmental corruption. So I don't find it very shocking that the government is opposing us, the artists, because I think they have a lot of shit to hide.
You said it best. Hana, your show deals with domestic violence. What is the purpose of your show and what does it aim to achieve?
You know, sometimes people told me the show is very tough, and they said, the reality is tougher.
Right.
We see that women killed in her home, and there is no punishment enough. There is no enforcement, and people go to the side and don't want to take the responsibility. So the show try to give back the responsibility to the audience. The show asked them to take part. This is a participatory show. All of us look together about the mechanism of the violence. They try to break this circle of
The circle
death.
of violence. Yes. So, Ronnie, I want to watch a small segment of your production, and then we'll talk a little bit.
שוגר מעלה לו את רמת העוררות. וגם ככה, it's not easy for him long נסיעות ארוכות.
אוקיי. זאת כבר הערה שלישית. אדוני, אתה יודע לספור? טוב, עכשיו תמשיך אחריי. 1, 2, 3. מעולה. אתה יודע להגיע ל-280,000? מעולה, התקבלת.
יופי, תתרכז, כי מבחינת דדו כל פעם כשאני פונה אליו זאת הערה.
הערה או לא הערה?
בבקשה.
בוא, אתה תחליט מתי זו הערה.
נסענו!
נסענו, אבל בוא נעשה כיף, בסדר?
אוקיי.
אוקיי.
Just help me with this diet. אוקיי, זאת לא הייתה הערה, זאת הייתה בקשה.
נוסעים. א',
סטופ!
א',
יש.
אוקיי, ילדים, מחלה שמתחילה באות א', המשחק האהוב על איתמר.
יש! איזה ילד גאון!
איזה יופי, תמרי.
איידס.
איידס, יופי, אמא.
אלצהיימר.
אלצהיימר, עוד מישהו רוצה להציע? יכול?
תנו רעיונות.
אלצהיימר, איידס. אנגינה, נהדר. איך? אפילפסיה, איזה יופי.
אוי, נכון, איך לא חשבתי על אפילפסיה.
נכון, יש אפילפסיה.
אוקיי, טוב, יאללה, עוד אות.
עוד, טוב, בבקשה, עוד.
א',
סטופ.
סמך.
איך כבר סמך?
אבל
תודה על
אנחנו כבר
הדמת.
בסמך.
אבל איך סמך כבר?
זה מה שיצא, לא
בסדר.
נורא.
אוקיי, מחלה שמתחילה בסמך, כן. סטרפטוקוק, סבוריה, סרטן.
יאו, סיפיליס.
סיפיליס, יופי, אמא.
סקס דיזיז.
Ronnie, you often search for poetry in everyday language. WhatsApp conversations, day-to-day conversations. How does it manifest in your work?
Okay, so I'm looking for a new way to tell a story by using the living art of theater. And each production that I made, I'm trying to ask myself the question, why to do it in the theater medium? In short,
And why? Why to do it in the theater medium?
I have a lot of answers actually, but I will tell you the one that in Short Circuit.
Okay.
Short Circuit is a play that using the audience. There is 2 actors on the stage, but all the other roles are from the audience that come randomly came to watch a show and becoming an actor. The most important moment in the show for me is the moment that Dado, the father, is asking the audience what they would prefer, an autistic child or a child that is allergic to nuts. The audience need to raise their hand. And he continue and ask more and more questions. What do you prefer? In the end of the monologue, he asked the audience, there is in here someone that he's a father or a mother for an autistic child. And in each show, there is someone that raises his hand. And in that moment, Dado, the actor Muli, go down from the stage and hug this person. Wow. And for me, this moment is the most important moment that I can achieve in a theater art. I want that the stage will hug the audience, will hug a specific person in the audience.
Yair, I want to see a glimpse of your adaptation, and we will.
Let's do it.
לו רק הבשר הזה, מדי, מדי מוצק, היה נמס, מפשיר ונהפך לטל. הולו רק, לא אסר, הכל יכול לשלוח יד בנפשך. או אלוהים, אל אלוהים, כמה תפלים ומייגעים שטוחים, מיותרים נראים לי כל העניינים של העולם. שישרף אמן.
Your adaptation is considered innovative and unconventional, to say the least.
I hope.
What prompted your choice to focus on gender themes?
I wouldn't say that I focused on gender themes as much as I focused on identity issues and matters. I think when you grow up in Israel, I mean, as a young boy, you have to live up to a certain amount of expectations, masculinity.
Be a man.
Be a man, yeah. And there's a certain way, a path, if you want to be a man. I mean, we're all obliged to serve in the military service. And if you're a fighter, then you are more successful as a person, as a man. And for me, it was very scary because I never really wanted to fight. I never wanted to wear a uniform or to hold a gun. And when I think of Hamlet, this character, I see a very gentle, soft man who is actually more of an artist. He's a theater geek, really. And he's also a prince. And that comes with a certain amount of expectations.
Of course.
And I don't think he lives up to those expectations, and maybe this is why he's not being crowned as the future king after his father dies. And more than that, when he meets the ghost of his father, when he has an encounter with this dead person, he gets a task, a mission to seek for revenge, to murder his uncle. And he's simply not capable of committing this goal, this act. And this is really, really what the play is about. It's this conflict of identity happening inside his mind, his soul. Am I a prince? Was I born to fight, or am I an artist? And could those things live together?
Live together. It's amazing because when we're talking about subtext, this has so much subtext in it, especially with everything that we're going through right now.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Hana, I want to watch a minute of your show, and we will speak.
ביום שני קיימת פגישת ייעוץ. עורך הדין המליץ לך לחכות.
ביום שלישי פגשת חברה שסיפרה לך על עוד חברה שכבר כמעט 5 שנים מצויה בהליכים. קל זה לא יהיה, אמרה. עוד באותו היום הלכת למשטרה. היומנאי הורה לך לחכות. ישבת על הספסל במעצר. שעות.
ברביעי ניגשת ללשכה. עובדת טובה ומסורה פתחה לך תיק. כעת נותר רק להמתין. אמרה בקול מרגיע.
בחמישי החלטת.
בחמישי החלטת. בחמישי החלטת לדבר איתו בהיגיון.
What unique artistic techniques did you develop through your work with the documentary materials that you use?
First, we are a women group. Our work deals with issues like ethnicity, like feminism, like activism, and usually we don't work with plays. We make a dramaturg that the materials taken from the life. We mixed the materials. Also, this show ask the audience to take responsibility. We see it on a circle scene. The audience are holding the boundary tape and all the show, and also we gave them clothes of little children that her mothers were killed, and like they feel
They actually feel like they are in the scene.
Yes, yes. They feel like they're in the
homicide scene,
and
basically.
sometimes we are going after them and put the hands on their shoulders and speaks like they are what they thinking.
You know, Ronnie said that they encountered during the play with families that have an autistic child. Did you encounter in your show women that actually experienced domestic violence?
Okay, so the poem was written about Esti Aronovich, that her husband, the doctor, killed her. And in the first show, her daughter and her son came to the show, and they hold this
ribbon.
Yes, and also they were very grateful about the way we gave this mirroring and this like we try to feel what she feel before he kills her. What was her thought? What has she done at home? And they were very they appreciated this.
They really appreciated the gesture. Ronnie, Yair, and Hana, thank you very much for your voice. Thank you very much for what you're doing, and thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you.
Can theater language enable us to communicate trauma and pain differently than everyday speech? One group that is bound to search for answer is the differently abled. Joining us today via video chat is Professor Atay Citron, who directed the show Third Person with Ibisu Sign Language Theater, which began as part of the interdisciplinary research project, The Grammar of the Body, led by Professor Wendy Sandler from the University of Haifa, and was founded by the European Research Council. Atay, thank you very much for joining me.
Welcome, it's a pleasure.
So, Atay, briefly, if you can describe the performance and what is the significance of the name Ibisu?
Okay, let me start with Ibisu. Ibisu is the god of fishermen and good fortune in Japanese Shinto religion. But he's also the only deaf god that we know of in world religions and mythologies. He's also known as the laughing god. So we thought that it fits our purposes very well to have a laughing deaf god as our name. We borrowed it from Shinto religion. And the production, Third Person, is our third production, the third production of Ibisu. And it deals with the complex relations between the deaf and the interpreters. Actually, we call it a production about the deaf, the hearing, and those in between. That means the interpreters. And one would expect the relations to be simple, but it's very complex because you depend on the interpreter and you never know if the interpretation is accurate, if your intonation in the signing has been transmitted precisely, and so on and so forth. The company right now consists of 4 deaf actors and 1 hearing actress who is a professional interpreter, probably today the most well-known interpreter in Israel of sign language interpreters.
Wow.
That's Lee Dunn.
So, Atay, what connection do you see between religion,
Shamanism?
Yes, healing, and the theater you create?
I've been studying shamanism for 3 decades now in different parts of the world, in Korea, Bali, Papua New Guinea, recently in Mongolia. And shamanism found its way to our first production, where there is a character of a four-armed shaman that gives the gift of sign language to the hero in the hero's quest and journey. But I think there is a deeper, probably more complex answer, and that is that the origins of theater and probably of all the arts are in shamanism, in prehistoric shamanism. So that art was not a commodity in prehistoric times, and maybe in tribal societies still today, but a form of healing. So that whatever you do in performance has a purpose, not to entertain or not to provoke thought only, but also to heal. And shamans don't only heal individuals. When we talk about disease, this is very contemporary, unfortunately, we talk about disease of a society too.
Yeah.
So shamans are also responsible for the well-being and the equilibrium of society. And last, shamans like us start with the physical aspect, and then they bring the mental and the spiritual. So we start always with the physical. I developed in my teaching a method called let the body lead the mind. So first is the body, its movement, its reeling, its jumping, and then the voice, the breath and the voice, and then everything else.
תרגום הוא כמו נשיקת אוהבים דרך מטפחת. דימוי יפה של ביאליק. אבל אנחנו לא מתרגמות יצירת ספרות על דף, אלא בחיים, עכשיו, כרגע. אין לנו אפשרות לכתוב טיוטה, למחוק, לתקן. אנחנו המטפחת. אנחנו המטפחת שדרכה מתנשקים החרשים עם השומעים. ואנחנו מרגישות את הרוק משני הצדדים. אנחנו צריכות לתרגם את המילים כשהן באוויר, עדיין רטובות, לפני שהתנדפו. את הסימנים כשהם עדיין במרחב.
So just before we're finishing, I'm curious about the devising process of the play. It's like since moving between sign language and written language is always a form of interpretation, like you're saying. How can you avoid this issue?
Oh, we don't try to avoid this issue at all. We look at it head on. We in this particular show, which is about interpretation and about the complexity of the dependence on interpreter. So you and I can communicate easily. We now do it in English, but we don't need a go-between to mediate our conversation. Deaf people do need it, and let's put it very clearly, hearing people, us, we also need it when we deal with a deaf person. So it's not only the dependence of the deaf person, but also ours when we encounter a deaf person. So the devising process here was a bit different from our previous productions because we understood that we need spoken language. The little text we have here and there, spoken text, needs to be repeated like any other text in the theater. But it comes from improvisation. It's not like we wrote a play. It comes from the studio, from the body of the actress who does it. And then we learn it by heart and we deliver it. But it's not like, a psychological drama. And we never have a first reading around the table. we don't know what we're reading. So the devising process is different, although here we also have spoken words.
I think that the most amazing thing is not that you just in that play gave a voice to deaf people, you also gave a voice to the translators. They are actually one and part, an essential part of the play, and I think this is the genius of it. And it's also making us, as people who hear, to hear and see. Sometimes we're not seeing.
Right, as the deaf people say, we listen with our body. So it's with the eyes. If you cannot hear, the entire body listens. And that's an important lesson I learned from them.
Definitely, and I think it's an important lesson that we learned from you. Thank you very much, Atay, for this conversation. Thank you very much. During days of pain and collective concern surrounding war, we tend to overlook personal pain and the complexity of relationships within families and homes. In this conversation, we aim to address in various ways complex relationships and their connections to society around them. And I want to say hello to performers, directors, and sisters, Nurit and Anat, dreamer, who present A Good Place, Everything is Bad, of the Incubator Theater. Hi.
Hi.
And multidisciplinary artist, musician, director, and writer, Achinoam Mendelson, with her work I Love You Special, presented at Hazira Performance Art Arena. Hello.
Hi.
Nurit and Anat, your production, A Good Place, Everything is Bad, tells about your life with the experience of growing up with a single parent who never actually behaved like a father. And Achinoam, your production, I Love You Special, deals with the unusual love you and your mother share for theater and each other. You have both chosen an experimental path to challenges the well-made family drama. What is the meaning of this choice?
For us, our show is about our family and about our life. So, and we grew up without a mother and with a really extraordinary father, very unconventional one. So our life was always chaotic, crazy, different, not normal. So I think that actually making a more realistic theater for our life will be a theater that is not like organized, not narrativic, that is a bit more chaotic, that is more based on a fantasy, more fantasy-like and more imaginary-like, and not like very classic theater.
Yeah.
You agree with her?
I agree with her.
100%.
Very well put.
For me, I grew up with, my mom worked for 50 almost years at the National Theater of Israel. She was mainly doing the casting, and the theater was kind of my babysitter, you know? I've been there behind the scenes and saw everything. And when I was 6 years old, so she cast me to be one of the children Medea is going to murder. Yeah.
Oh my,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so this
very
is...
Very motherly.
Yes, she's very special. So she gave me the role of being a child that his mother going to kill him. The key to the show, it's inside this story. So my play is kind of small revenge at the Israeli theater and also for my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So I take all this classical background that I know, like Medea and many association from also the Israeli theater, like big names, which are symbols of the bourgeois theater, and I kind of do something else with it, because it's not just a theater, it's kind of a ceremony between me and her, because she's also on stage.
Theater has been a significant part of your relationship with your parents. How has your identity as creator been shaped by this?
I think our father is like a character from a book. Like
himself. Like we grew up on many stories and different art pieces and very not always age appropriate. But our father, I think the most inspiration he gave to us is by living his life the way he lives, which is not always very comfortable when you're a child and you want just the regular parent to come to school and not like scream at the teacher for not loving your poem that you wrote during class. But I think, yeah, this was the inspiration. This is why we chose, I think, this life, because this is the language we speak. We speak like in a more, this is where we feel at home. I think more than in everyday life, that maybe we feel like we need to make believe, like, but in the theater we can be like free, like ourselves, like.
Basically, you feel like your life were always some kind of a drama or a comic drama?
A fantastical,
fantastical
very
story.
weird, story.
And you brought it
to the stage.
To the stage, amazing.
I feel that like my connection with my mom is a little bit like my connection with the theater, in a sense that I really respect her and I love her, but I also all the time, it's very complex with our parents. We want all the time to be something else and to fight with, and sometimes when you fight with your parent, you say very nasty things, but you know that like in 5 minutes everything gonna be all right. So this is the same kind of with the theater, because like I respect the classic word of it, but I also don't want to do the same, and I don't want it to be like the thing that I saw as a little girl. And I also aware of the behind the scenes of the theater, because my mom worked there for so many years. So I know all the ego and the crazy things that happening inside the theater. So this is part of my material, not just the theater, but the relationship between my mom and the theater, and all the hard things that she experienced there as a worker. Did
you ever talk to your parents about the issues that you had with them just before writing the play?
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. They know everything, I think.
Yeah, our father was like, I want you to do it like as it is, do it. He thought, he said after the first show that he went, and we insult him during the show. We say like things that maybe.
We put all the issues on the table.
And he was like, this wasn't enough. You should go harder on me.
רק שתי אחיות, יתומות מאם, שגדלו עם אבא. מטורף. אנחנו משחקות בכך שאנחנו פונות אליך בדברים. תאוות ההצצה שלך לא תבוא לסיפוקה. שום ניצוץ לא יקפוץ מאיתנו אליך. אנחנו לא מעמידות פנים כאילו אתה לא נוכח. בשבילנו אתה לא אוויר, בשבילנו אתה בעל חשיבות מכרעת. בלי נוכחותך היינו מדברות אל החלל הריק. אנחנו לא מארגנות הצגה כדי להאיר את עיניך. שום דיאלוג לא עומד להיפתח. אתה משמש מטאפורה. אתה הקהל והקהל הוא אתה. אתה התגלית. אתה תגלית הערב. ממך הניצוץ קופץ אלינו. אתה חכם, אתה מצחיק, אתה בלתי רגיל, אבל אתה לא ממלא ערב. אתה לא רעיון מוצלח. אתה מייגע, אתה לא נושא משתלם. אתה כישלון דרמה. אתה לא נאמן למציאות. אתה מניפולטיבי, שקרן, אחוז זעם, בטלן, אין לך רישיון אפילו, פחדן, מוכה גורל, לו זה.
What are the reactions that you're getting?
Our show has a lot of anger towards our father, but also a lot of love. And in the end, he every show we did, he came up in the end of the show and bowed with us. So I think the audience, for sure, at this moment, understand that it's our family all together are doing this show as an act of love, of life. And I know of like many fathers came to me after and said it was really interesting for them, and it really changed a bit their perspective on their fatherhood.
I think it's not easy to everybody, because it's not just with compassion.
So the three of you decided to have unconventional representation of your parents as part of the show. On the other hand, you decided to act on stage yourself. What prompted these choices?
We decided to cast a child to play our father. Yeah. So this decision was in order to tell about our father in the most accurate way for us, because he is like a child in a way, even though he is 74 years old. And this child that plays him is doing it like he talks. He doesn't play like an old person. He like himself. And we wanted to talk about this tension between being an old person but also feeling like very, very young, and also being a father but also being a child. And this decision to be on stage is because we really wanted to emphasize this triangle of two daughters, two sisters, and also to talk about our relationship. And this father that is not this how this person is supposed to raise us is like so little, and to laugh about it and to celebrate it also, and to see the grace in it, because when you see an old person being like a little child, you don't always sympathize with him. Sometimes it's annoying, or but this child is so charming, and you hear him talk like a widower, like talking about fighting with the hospitals, or like doing stuff that old people are usually doing, but you can see the grace in it.
So in this show we are 5 performers, me, my mother, and 3 others performers, and everybody wearing a mask of my face. And the only one who is flexible with the identity, it's me and my mother. Which are like, we can wear each other's face, yeah? I can also wear my own face mask, and then I can be like my more animality myself. But this thing is, I have to be present on stage with my mom, because all the tension is between these 2 presents. And with the masks, you see all the time like 2 layers that happening on stage. Like one layer is me and my mother, but the other layer is my mom with my face and me with the face of her. But you, as an audience, you see that it's not my mother, it's me. So it's all the time like, there is tension. Who is going to sacrifice who, and who is going to they're going to meet each other, they're going to be soft in some point to each other. And this tension is because of our physical presence on stage.
So let's see a glimpse also.
אז מה היה? אתמול אני הולכת ברחוב, ואיזה אחד השתיל בכניסה לבית. ראיתי לו הכל. היה לו כזה מצחיק! לא בא לך להתקשקש? בזמן האחרון נורא בא לי בוטוקס. יש לי איזה קמד אחד, באמת אפשר לכתוב מי שלה בפתק ולהכניס שם! אני משתמשת בקרם פנים אנטי-אייג'ינג נגד הגיל. מה, את לא שמה? בגילך כבר מזמן היא צריכה לשים. מה, את לא ממחזרת? בפחים הכתומים. נו. אז תתקשרי לעירייה שישימו לך פח כתום. תשמרי על השיניים שלך. לא כולם מקבלים חינם, אין כסף כאלה שיניים. קניתי לך חולצה חדשה מספסל ברחוב. בוטיק אשפטורי!
One of the biggest fear here was to work with my mom on the studio, because she's a lot. She has a big personality.
So she's a lot to handle.
Yes, she's a lot, and she's very not disciplined, you know? And the only place that she gave me to tell her what to do was on studio. And she was like the most devoted performer that I ever worked with. You know, this is parents. Parents, it's like all the time like waves of anxiety and beauty, you know? It's all the time like this. You are amazed by them and you want to kill them all the time. This is so, yeah.
You know that your children one day will sit down and they will say the same thing about you.
Yes, we are aware.
Okay, so just a small notice, just so you know. Girls, thank you very much for
Thank
this
you.
very lovely conversation. Thank you very much. Talking to the different creators about their diverse works was inspiring in times when trauma is everywhere. Remembering the power to grow from it and create beauty is very reassuring for me and hopefully also for you. Every show we discussed here today is available for online viewing until December 12th by registering on our website. Signing off from Tel Aviv, I'm Lucy Aharish. Thank you for joining me. Selamat.